Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Queen's Court Season 2, Episode 1 recap, all right? I am your host, Rope Zeus, and I will be curating and hosting this entire event for us. This is actually going to be a 10-part series because if you don't know, Queen's Court Season 2 is back and it's 10 episodes, okay? So if you don't know what Queen's Court is, please allow me to give you just a little short, brief intro to it. So Queen's Court is a show where three celebrity women are looking for love. It's just that simple. They have fame, they have money, but they still don't have love. And so for this particular show, they are going to be dating 22 successful young kings, okay? But just because they're kings doesn't mean they're the right king for our queens. You know what I mean? If you haven't seen the first episode, I want you to stop right now, go watch the first episode, and then come back here, pull up on us so you can watch the recap, okay? Because today I'm sitting down with some of the cast from the very first episode, and I don't know if y'all saw that first episode, man, but I'm excited. I'm excited. It was drama, it was tears, it was fierce, okay? You know what I mean? So that's exactly how we like our reality shows, and I think they picked amazing queens. But first and foremost, let me give a big shout out to the host of Queen's Court, Mrs. Holly Robinson Pete and Mr. Rodney Pete, okay? They hosted that show. A lot of people consider them as couple goals, all right? So big shout out to them. And of course, there will be no Queen's Court if it wasn't for the queens, okay? So big shout out to Queen Lisa Ray, Queen Kate Michelle, and Queen Delicious, okay, ladies? How you guys doing? Hopefully we can get you to come on to the show and, tell your side and talk to some of the cast members as well. I think that would be a good little reunion, all right? So lastly, but not least, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, all right? Live your dreams, not your reality. Listen, it's not enough to just have a dream. You got to wear the dream, okay? So make sure you guys go get your t-shirt, go get your hats, go get a part of the movement, your tote bags. For those who are dreamers and you want, to be wearing the dream. You want people to look at you and say, hey, that person is on a mission for a goal. Make sure you go to topropezeus.com and get you some Live Your Dreams, Not Your Reality merch, okay? And also sponsored by Mr. Braxton's Bar and Kitchen, all right? So for all my people in the DC area, all right, Northern Virginia area, if you're looking for a good bar, more than a bar, a good restaurant to have good handcrafted cocktails, and the food is bomb. I've been. The food is banging, all right? And they got a nice little patio area out there for events where they watch with the big projector screen. So make sure if you're in DC, go pull up to Mr. Braxton's Bar and Kitchen and tell them Zeus sent you, all right? All right, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to wait no more. I'm ready to talk to the cast. I'm ready to talk to the king. So, let's bring them up. Let's talk to them. Hey, gentlemen.
Hey,
How you
Zeus.
doing?
Hey, Zeus. What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm just looking at you superstars, man. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
Good. Afam, what's up, man?
I'm doing good. It's good to be with you. It's good to be on your show. Thank you for having us.
Hey, man, thank you for being here, man. I'm excited to talk to you guys. Norman, what's up, big dog?
Hey, man, I'm living the life, man,
I hear you. I got some questions for you, big dog. Yeah,
absolutely.
That was a phenomenal first episode. Phenomenal. What's up, Bailey?
Hey, what's going on, my friend? I can't
What's
complain.
going on, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling great. I was nervous. Actually, the last couple of days, I'm like, I can't wait to see how this first episode is, displayed. And I'm very, very pleased. I'll say that.
Absolutely. Last but not least, Mr. Booker. Book, we can't hear you. You gotta unmute, Book.
Unmuted.
There we go. What's up? What's up,
fellas?
Poker? What's up, Poker? He said,
Hey,
no, it's Booker.
You can call me Poker. That's what's up.
Hey, exactly. Hey, when it's Queen Lisa Ray, you say, babe, whatever you want to call me, long as you're calling me. That's all that matters. So I'm assuming everybody saw the first episode, right?
Yep. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Listen, I watched it before I asked y'all. I watched the first episode. Actually, I watched it twice. And man, a lot is going on in this first episode. I mean, laughs, you got some drama, you have new love emerging, flirting, all kind of different things all in once. So I'm gonna ask you guys collectively, starting off, So what did you guys think about overall? You seeing, how did you feel about the first episode overall?
I felt pretty good about it. My concern was obviously that it was going to be edited to, not maybe fit my personality or who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a really good job, showing the connection between Lisa Ray and I, as well as who I am. So I would give them, I would say a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Okay. I like that. Mr. Bailey, how'd you feel watching yourself on TV?
It's great that you asked that question because, to be honest with you guys, I'm an executive in banking. I never imagined myself being on television.
Really?
But to agree with Booker, I mean, after I watched this first episode, like I said, I've been really extremely nervous and concerned in terms of what would be used and what wouldn't be used. And the three key things that make me who I am, right? My core values in terms of my belief, my love for my family, and the fact that where I'm at today, if you look at my history and where we started off as a family, it's generational curses have been broken in terms of what we're doing in my family.
Absolutely.
With my sons, and for them to hit those three key points in terms of the things they chose to include, I'm over the moon right now. I'm very, very pleased.
Love it. That's what I love to hear, man. I was going to talk to you about those few points, and I'm gonna get back to that in a sec.
Sure.
Afam, you used to the TV screen, or this is all new for you?
Definitely not used to a TV screen. I'm the same as Bailey. Had no aspirations, no expectations of ever being on TV. Like the way that the whole thing happened was completely random. I matched with some woman on dating app, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm recruiting for this dating reality show," and I was like, "All right, it's probably a scam, but I'm gonna see where it goes." And
That's how you do with scams.
I thought it was a scam too. I swear.
He said, "Yeah, I think it's a scam, but we're gonna see where it goes. Let's keep walking down this hall." Yeah.
That's exactly it.
As long as they don't ask for money, I'm gonna play this game. See what happens. And
They don't ask for money.
I do agree. I feel like it was a pretty good representation of all of us. I will say I was disappointed because I was like barely on the whole episode. And like I had an entire one-on-one with Kay Michelle on that first date, cut that whole thing out. The whole thing with like the fool, we'll probably talk a little bit more about that later. There was a whole component of that they didn't show. So that was a little disappointing, but it was a good show, right? I enjoyed it. And I love seeing all the you men on there as well. Norman, Booker, Bailey, like it just brought back a lot of the memories of that experience. And for that part, I loved it. And I mean, it was some good TV.
Absolutely. Great TV. Yeah, I was going to talk to you about your storyline because I felt like they kind of left you out a little bit, Play. I ain't like that. I kind of felt like they kind of went light on the storyline a little bit, but we'll dive into a little bit of maybe your perspective of why that is. So let me take you guys back to the first part where you first sit down and you realize who the queens are, okay? Let's get back to that moment. You're first seeing them. You have your pick, and also too, now you have these celebrity women that maybe you've seen before. Some of us may know them, and some of us may not have been privy to them. Okay, so for example, how did you guys feel when you first sat down and you saw the ladies? Who was shocked, or who was like, I don't know who this is? Who was surprised? No one more than Norman.
I was about to say, I think Norman needs to kick this part off. I think Norman needs to kick this segment off.
Yeah, Norman, we're gonna kick you off with this, brother. Norman, well, actually, first, before you answer that, I got to do this. I saw you brothers dressed up. Y'all were clean, okay? I think everybody showed their personality through their dress. I can appreciate everybody's dress for those who haven't seen it. So first and foremost, I want to know, whose idea was it to have those Burger King ass crowns on? Okay, I want to know that. I need to know that. Zach is not here on this episode, but we're going to get Zach on the second episode because Zach was smooth too. I like the purple tie, like the gray, but I want to know, first off, I love Zach because Zach is such a bold character. You can tell he's being genuinely himself. Because I want to know, why did Zach come in there with the Passions of the Christ, fitted crown on? I need to know why, okay? Because it makes it even more hilarious that this is a predominantly black show. And he said, I'm going to come on as the Passions of the Christ. So I got to get Zach up here because I know Zach is going to give us a great answer. So Zach, come on the show so we can know. Yeah, man, everybody looked clean, but those Burger King crowns they had y'all on. Come on, was nice.
Jesus Christ myself.
Kind of dope.
Yeah.
Some of y'all look like y'all was going to a birthday party for your kids, and you was just trying to, be
I think Zach
involved.
was the only one who brought his own crown. I think every one of us, like, they provided those crowns. I know I did not bring a crown. I had no desire to be wearing a crown. Like, I got a bald head. Like, you can't put a crown on this. It's ridiculous. I looked at myself and was like, oh my God, I can't believe I had that thing on.
Right. I like Norman's crown. I thought that I think his was the flyest out of them all. And then I like Bailey's cape.
Yeah.
Bailey was going to the Met Gala. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm online now on Temu looking for capes.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, I gotta get me a cape, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
they said royalty. They said royalty, and everything I looked up, the Kings had long capes on the ground. So I said, let's do it.
Absolutely. And last but not least, my man Booker. Now Booker had on the refined.
Very much so.
He had the ascot.
Yes, sir.
You gotta be a cold brother to wear an ascot.
Yes, sir.
There's only
Those are my
two
first
killed
time.
him with
I
that.
know that wear the ascot. Booker and the Monopoly Man, and both of them are famous after this right here.
Yeah, he killed
That's
that.
it,
He
that's
killed
it.
that.
Absolutely,
Take
y'all.
control.
I'm just joking with you guys. You guys look great. So Norman, what was it like sitting down in front of the queens and finding out who they were? What was going on through your head? Tell us about that.
For me, instantly I was thrown off. I was actually, let's talk about it, because I was actually thrown off before we walked down the stairs because I seen Lisa Ray's assistant.
So tell us why were you thrown off though?
I was thrown off because I dated her daughter. So and I had a relationship with the assistant, Lisa, the daughter, the grand, everybody. You get
so this was a family reunion.
Oh no, it was terrible. Like if you pay attention to my face, I was sweating, and everything just went through the roof at that point because I knew that I was walking into a freaking dungeon. You hear me? Like you couldn't tell me nothing. I had that, and I bought that crown. I bought that crown. But listen, when I tell you that crown was crowning, you hear me? That thing was going.
No, the crown was fly. I like the black in it. Crown was fly.
It was dope.
Swelling inside the crown. It was
I'm the pressure.
And it's no way that Lisa is here. I was just hoping that the assistant was working on something else. But when I came down, seeing Lisa Ray's face, I shut down immediately.
Wow.
It was done. My vision, I couldn't see nothing but that smile that was on her face. And it seemed like I knew something was going to go left if I didn't say the right thing, but I didn't know what to say. It was crazy. And
what are the odds?
I have a relationship with her. So we talk every holiday for 13 years.
Relationship with Lisa Ray or the daughter?
With Lisa Ray. I don't have a relationship with Kai, but we're not terrible. We're not bad. We just don't speak.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All the time. Yeah. But it was different, man. It was a shocker for me, and it really touched me so crazy because it was like I couldn't be myself no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ladies got to see me when I walked down those steps, which was a problem for me, And then on top of that, I know that I didn't get to explain my outlook on the whole show, but Booker stole my shine. You hear me?
Booker stole your shine?
Booker stole your shine.
I have problems.
How so?
I didn't talk to me a little bit about that because you guys went on dates. And you and Booker was asked out on a date by Lisa Ray, right? And you guys went out on a date, but it seemed like Booker was asked out on a date, and it seemed like you were asked out on a hot seat.
Yeah.
And when I crazy.
Yeah, it was actually hot and cold because Booker was cool. Booker was sitting on the ice.
I didn't know what was going on. I was like,
he said, "I don't even know your daughter.
This man's
I never met her. No,
Booker said this man's nervous.
No problem here."
He's like, why do you do so much?
It's odds of that.
It's funny.
Norman. It's crazy. Go ahead, Norman.
It's funny because everyone was looking at me like, man, why is Norm nervous? Like he wasn't nervous before we walked down these stairs, But I couldn't explain. Like how could I do that to anybody? You
right.
know?
You couldn't tell everybody. You had a secret you had to kind of keep inside.
Yeah.
And nobody, how was that? Like, that was kind of, yeah, because you look nervous.
Yeah, it destroyed me because I'm a real upfront and honest person. Like everybody backstage, we all got to mix and mingle, and everybody knew that I would say whatever I had to say. So
Right.
I couldn't
you were
do that.
And let me say something. Behind backstage, Norman was a comedian, right?
Yes.
He had us all
He was.
laughing. He had us all
Yes.
jovial, right? Even when he got silent sometimes, he'd throw out an icebreaker. So that's
Yeah.
what he's saying. He's saying once he got upstairs, we all noticed his demeanor completely changed.
Yeah.
We didn't know why. You know, yeah.
Wow.
But Norman was he was just cool, calm, collected in the backstage, and then I remember near the end, I saw you off on the side by yourself, like right before Lisa Ray came over to you, and I was like, man, what is Norman doing over there? And you know, obviously now we know. But I was like, man, that's not the Norman that I had met backstage. Right. I was like, maybe it's just all the cameras and all of that stuff, but
yeah,
no,
obviously that was not.
Let me clear the air. You understand? Because
please do.
That looked crazy. You know, they tried to make me look like I was lonely, but I wasn't. I was talking to K. Michelle, and they pulled me away from K. Michelle and put me at a table. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why am I standing here?
Okay.
K. Michelle came over and grabbed my arm and asked me if I was okay. She tried to stop it.
Gotcha.
Going on, and they put me there at that table, and then Lisa Ray walks up, and then I shut down all the way after that. It was just total shutdown after that, man. It was crazy.
That was kind of a very kind of K. Michelle to see, you know, hey, listen, and everybody's just meeting. Hey, let me, you know, come grab your arm. Let me, you know, make sure you're okay. I'm assuming it's the arm that was pure gold because that's the arm that I would have chosen. You know what I'm saying? But it's very dope that early on, like I said, the queens were looking out for the guys, for the kings, you know, all around, not just for the camera, because I mean, it is uncomfortable for all of us, you know, anybody who would come on a blind date show or anything like that. So, you know, you had a lot going on, Norman, but I'll say, brother, you did a good job at being transparent about what was going on. You know what I mean? You and Booker, you guys was on a date together, and I guess Lisa Ray asked you, hey, let's do a one-on-one first, right? And in that one-on-one, you shared some things with her that she was unprivy to. Now, I'll tell you before I get your answer, right? I'll tell you what I thought it was, and then I'll tell you how you cleared it up for me as the viewer, right? So when you first came up there, and Lisa Ray, you know, y'all sitting there drinking champagne nizzles, you know, y'all looking good, rosés, and you know what I'm saying? And she asked him, she said, well, you know, am I your type? She said something to that effect, you know, am I your type of woman, you know, type of thing. And you was like, yeah, you know, I like older women, you know, you my vibe type. I thought to myself, oh, listen, Norman trying to get the daughter and the mama. I said, man, you know what I'm saying? He didn't have the junior whopper. Now he wants the real whopper. He want the real McCoy. I said, hey, this next level pimping right here. I said, I don't know. But you cleared it up when you explained to her some things that she didn't know about the situation. So can you tell us a little bit about what you shared with Lisa Ray? It was an emotional moment, and I could tell that genuinely it was a subject that was very touching for you. You know what I mean? So can you just kind of briefly just kind of tell us what did you know, tell us about, and what were you going through in that moment? How did you feel about it?
Well, in that moment, what basically, so what I was initially thinking was that Lisa and I had a connection where we had an understanding where we weren't going to reveal anything and we were going to act like strangers. That initial meeting, I acted like I didn't know her. I shook her hand, said my name and everything, knowing she knew my name, but I knew the history. You know, the world to know the history, because I don't want to live in that shadow. You get what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
When we got on the date and she asked me that question, in my defense, I was really talking about in general, as far as that thing. Like, do you like older women? I said, I love it. I mean, all of the women were older than me. I was probably one of the youngest guys on the show.
Absolutely. Yep.
39 years old. So I'm thinking, all right, yeah, she's asking me a question, let me answer. But I wasn't thinking of how it would look on television and how
Got
people
you.
receive it.
Right.
So,
You weren't talking about her. You're saying in general.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Got you.
Yeah, but I knew that it with chopping it up and piecing stuff together, it could look crazy. So I was nervous.
Right.
I didn't know
Got
what it was gonna be like. And this could go any way at this point. I'm telling everybody like, yo, it's gonna be a shit show.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, don't watch it. You know,
Right. But you told her something she didn't know though.
Yeah,
you threw her off her game.
Very much so.
Explain the situation. It hurt me because the tears came because I vowed to never share that secret. You know, not that it was bothering me, but it was because I knew that I hid it already.
Right.
So once you hide something, you're guilty. You get what I'm saying? Of
Yeah.
lying. You know,
Yeah.
so I have told her a long time ago, 13 years of a nonstop relationship between her and I was just crazy. So then when it got to the point where I had to reveal that, it broke down because I promised her daughter that I would never let it out. But you cannot make me into a cheater on national television because that's not
true. You felt like you had to defend yourself.
Right. So I'm like, why tell certain things but don't tell everything? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
It bothered me so much to the point where it allowed me to release everything. And I'm an open book. Anybody who knows me knows that I'll tell it all. I'll tell on myself because it's a fact. And I would rather you hate me for who I am than to love me for who I could pretend to be. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, so it was a hard one. And the tears were the tears were instant. You know that they weren't fake. You see my red and everything, like I couldn't stop it. I'm not even a crier. That's the craziest thing. So nobody has ever seen me cry in my life. So it's really weird to get into that situation. Now I didn't know how bad it was gonna affect me until it affected me.
Right. You know what? It takes a real man not only to cry, to show his emotions, but to do it on camera in front of millions of people. I think that's really the essence of what this show seems to be about. Because I looked at it like I didn't think you were faking at all.
No, it didn't come across that way at all.
I didn't come. You know what I'm saying? It came across very genuine, and it also came across as a man who didn't want to let go of his child, but also, you know, we've all been in tough situations where we just had to make hard decisions. And it just so happens that you and Lisa Ray should have probably had that conversation off camera, but you got to think about some things that just meant to happen. What are the odds that you go on a dating show and the 3 celebrity women out of anybody it could be? You know what I'm saying? So life is funny that way, man. But you weren't on the date alone. After you and Lisa Ray had your time. Lisa Ray had her time with another gentleman up here, and it looked like they were hitting it off quite well. Mr. Booker, sir, please talk to us a little bit about when you first saw the Queens. Were you instantly just into Lisa Ray, or were you looking at some of the other queens, or were you shocked? I know you said you kind of fanboyed out a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what it was like when you first found out it was Lisa Ray in front of you.
Well, I was definitely shocked, right? Because, you know, we I think while we were waiting, we were starting to, you know, come up with theories. You know, we thought we saw someone, you know, through the crack of a door, you know, in a hallway. You know, we thought we heard voices. So, you know, to answer your question, when I saw Lisa Ray, I was locked in. You know, no shade as it relates to London or K. Michelle, beautiful women. But when I saw Lisa Ray, I was locked in. I was like, whoa, okay.
It seemed like y'all had instant chemistry, man. Like when I say y'all, first off, it may be 10 hours of B-roll of y'all just gazing into each other's eyes. Y'all some gazers.
Facts.
Y'all some gazers. Listen, I hope somebody on YouTube put a compilation of YouTube gazing into each other's eyes and then put like 10 hours of bed music. Because that is how long you two were gazing into each other's eyes. I mean, it just looked like y'all had a genuine connection. Then she asked you out on a date, you know, instantly. But what was it like at first, you know, trying to talk to her with other guys in the vicinity? You know, I know was that normal for you, or how was that? How did you get her attention?
Well, no, I mean, being on a date with other dudes is not normal for me, sir. But but you know, it was pretty much compartmentalizing, right? Because you know, my connection with her, when I was having a conversation with her, I was locked in on her, she was locked in on me. So that helped. And you know, to be honest as well, the connection that we had helped me to forget that, you know, there are cameras around, right? She's an actress, I'm not an actor. So
Right.
cameras being all up in your face, you know,
Yeah.
you know, tends to, I would assume, get you kind of out of character or in a
Yeah.
pretend role. But excuse me, I forgot all about the cameras, and I was just having a conversation with a beautiful person.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between us was obvious on camera. So, you know, it was a beautiful moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the dates seem to kind of pretty much go the same way. You guys seem to connect. She seemed to be kind of impressed by your life experience. She said that. She said, you seem like a man who's lived life.
Yeah. You know what? You know, and I would agree with Bailey that, you know, what they had on camera as far as who you are, I was pleased with it, right? There's some other things that I wish they would have included, but you know, obviously it's 22 people on the show, right?
Obviously.
But, yeah, man, I think the journey is what really, you know, builds character. You know, you're overcoming certain obstacles and, you know, makes you who you are, right? And knowing that there are do's, don'ts, boundaries, aspiration, goals, you know, how you want your tombstone to look, right? Not to be morbid, but at the end of the day, we all have this journey and we all want to pretty much tell our own story. And that was one of the concerns that I had, you know, how am I going to be edited, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, I was pleased on how my story was told. And, you know, my story is based on the journey and everybody's journey that they had, you know, throughout life.
I like that. I like that. So you guys went out on a great date. You had the champagne tasting. And at no point you were nervous. Booker, is what you're saying? You was cool the whole way? Because it said you kind of fanned out a little bit, you know, because that's Diamond. Let's give it what it is, all right?
Oh, hey, exactly, right? I'm getting tongue-tied now. That's Diamond. That's Lisa Ray, you know. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm glad I took time out of my month to do this.
Nice.
Absolutely, that's great, man. I love that, man.
Yeah, I was very pleased, and like I said, you know, the other women beautiful, attractive, but I was zoned in on Lisa Ray.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So you two, you and Norman, are not the only ones that got a chance to talk to the ladies and experience them. Bailey, Afam, you guys came up. Tell us a little bit about who you were feeling when you initially saw the ladies. Who were you like? Would you like, hey, I like all of them, or she was, or I was like, I don't know, whoever likes me. How did you guys feel about when you met the queens, and who did you want to go out on a date with?
I'm gonna let Afam go first because I got some spoiler alerts for you that I'm gonna hit you with. So
okay.
I'm curious about these spoiler alerts, but yeah, I'll go first. So I only recognized Lisa Ray. You know, I know her from her movies. I did not know London. I did not know K. Michelle. When I saw them, I was like, okay. I knew Lisa Ray, and she's a beautiful woman. I saw K. Michelle. I saw London, and they're also beautiful women. I will admit, like when I first saw K. Michelle, I felt like she was uncomfortable. And so that kind of like threw me off a little bit. And then, you know, it turns out, like, because she's more like jeans and t-shirts. She's a country girl. She doesn't really necessarily want to be all dressed up like that. I'm glad I had a chance to talk with her. But like, I was definitely, you know, I talked with Lisa Ray. I talked with London. I talked with K. Michelle during the night. And I was more just like, okay, let me get to know them. I didn't have any like specific first off chemistry, like, ooh, I want her. I want to go with her. I definitely felt like my conversation with K. Michelle was a little, it wasn't like great chemistry, but I was definitely enjoying the time with her. So I'm glad that I went out on that. She asked me out like that. I definitely felt like that was the best match. Like with Lisa Ray, I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of chemistry. I don't think she felt any chemistry with me. I think we had a quick, brief, enjoyable conversation, but there definitely was not like any sort of. I wasn't feeling chemistry from her, and I'm pretty sure she did not feel it from me as well. But I liked her, right? Like as a human being, like it was really fun talking to her. London, she was an interesting one because I mean she's like just like the embodiment of sexuality, right? So like there's almost always
a lot of woman right there in front of you, Fam. That's a lot of woman in front of you.
Exactly. You can't watch a man and not feel something around that. But she's also a lot more to her. So that was really interesting. So I felt like my conversation with London was the best conversation of the whole night. But, you know, she has, of course, getting a lot of attention. She has to make a decision. So I felt I mean, it's interesting. You know, there's more to come on the show, so I'm not going to go into too much of the detail. But like, I'm glad that I went out with K Michelle. I think that was the right fit for me and for her in that, certainly on that first night. But I will tell you, nervous as hell in that whole experience. Like, you know, like Booker was talking about, there's cameras everywhere. I got no familiarity in front of a television. So I'm like, don't look at the camera. So I catch myself staring into the camera and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't be looking. And every time I would happen, like you'd be in a conversation. Yeah, exactly. Like a deer in headlights sometimes. And so it really threw my game off. It threw me off like quite a bit, just having to navigate all the cameras and like seeing everything that's going on. And then like, having to like 3 women, I think there were 7 of us on that first night. And that's not an environment that I'm used to. So it's like I'm already like, okay, we're having this competition. Then there's these cameras all over the place, and I was way off of my game. I was nervous, and I'm just glad that it worked out as it did.
Absolutely. Well, you got a date, so that was good. You got chosen by K Michelle to get on a date. But let me chime in with my man Bailey right here. Bailey was sharp to the T, sharp to the 9, and you actually had some conversations with the ladies. Tell me a little bit about how you felt about meeting them. You and K Michelle kind of had some nice conversation, correct?
We did, and that is, in hindsight, probably, if I had the chance to do the whole thing all over again, my game plan would have been a little bit different, right?
Okay.
One thing that has kind of come to the surface is that if there was one of the 3 that I was probably more so picked to probably mate with, right? As it turns out, it was K Michelle, right?
Really?
Because when they sat me down when we all sat down on the couches, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that I learned was kind of like the person that they think you may be a good fit with, they kind of put you in close proximity to. They sat me dead front, right in front of K Michelle, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, from that moment on, when I first sat down, like AFOM, I really didn't know anybody but Lisa Ray. I had heard of K Michelle, you know, in passing, and Delicious as well.
Yeah.
But for me, out of the 3, K Michelle was probably the youngest.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree?
Yep.
Right? And out of the men, I was probably the oldest, right? So I didn't see myself being matched with her. I didn't necessarily see her.
It was that age difference that you couldn't get used. Like, wasn't going to be a good matchup.
Of these 3, if this is the youngest one, I'm probably more suitable for one of the other 2.
Okay, got it.
Right?
Yeah.
And so while I was having conversations with K Michelle, she's a sweet young lady. There's far more to her than folks would know if all they do is look at the internet. But I really wasn't trying to make that kind of connection with her. Lisa Ray is a very nice young lady as well. But I thought that, like AFOM, I think my greatest connection was with London.
Really?
She and I
really?
we had like a good 15-minute conversation towards the end of the gathering that didn't make the camera, but she told me about her previous marriage. She told me about her daughter, and she told me about the businesses her daughter had started, and that she wanted her daughter to start off going to medical school. And my son is a doctor. He went to medical school, and we talked about that. And it almost got spiritual to the point we almost prayed right there. And so I was a little surprised that I did not get a date offer from London. But as it turns out, I think the better fit that the most important people we're looking at was probably with me and K Michelle, and I didn't pick up on that until way later in the game.
Okay. So it was a lot going on in the first episode, and you kind of felt like, hey, maybe they put you around the person that they thought you might want to, talk to or might want to date with, but it's 3 women, and only you after talking to the women who you feel like you have more of a connection with. So if you could go back, you want to go back on a date with London and have that opportunity to do so, correct?
My strategy would have been a little different. Let's just say it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably should have honed in a lot more in K Michelle.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Because it seemed like I saw a part of the episode where Kay was talking about, you guys were talking about your children. You were talking about how so proud you were as a father of your children. And, Kay Michelle is very close to her grandfather that raised her. So it felt like y'all had like a genuine connection right there. I thought Kay was going to ask you out on a date. So when I saw you at the elimination, I was a little taken back. Now you didn't get asked out on a date. How did that feel? Because, one guy had to be the guy to not be asked out on a date. We've all been there sometimes before. Did you feel discouraged, or did you feel like, what, it's okay, I'll have another opportunity to kind of, make up for that?
Honestly, that's exactly how I felt.
Oh, that's how you felt.
Right.
Actually, that's what I thought. I really, I was like, the 7 of us, by the time I actually sat down and had opportunity to talk to some of the other ones, they had already picked their dates. And so I literally thought, didn't make it this round, but I'd have another opportunity at the dinner. Right.
Got you. Yeah.
That's literally what I thought. But even at the end of the day, I was pleased during both interactions in both sessions, right? Whether it was the meet or greet or the rehearsal dinner, or the dinner or the elimination dinner, it was just an awesome experience. And I think that there's a lot more to those beautiful young ladies, all 3 of them, than most would know. And each of us can probably attest to the fact that, once you actually get to talk to someone off camera, that's when you really learn who they are. Right.
Right.
And I think that if there's anyone that would be, I'm eager to see the additional episodes to kind of see, is there a confirmation to the young lady that I met while we were having the session versus what may transpire as things go further. Right.
Okay. I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay. So there was a safari going on, a safari date with Afam and Zach. Zach's not here now. Afam, we were talking earlier about you and Kay had a real time to talk. You guys had real moments, but a lot of your stuff was cut out of the first episode. You know what I mean? Why do you think that was? And how did you feel about not getting, I want to know, how do you feel about not winning that one-on-one time? And then after that, I want to know about this fool comment. But I want to know what it was like on the other end of that. But we'll talk about that. First question: how did you feel? How did you feel the date went on the safari? It looked like you guys had a lot of fun. Take us there. Tell us what you thought, and then how did you feel about not getting the date?
Yeah, that's the thing. I did have a date with K Michelle. They cut the entire date out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I think, it probably just didn't make good television, or it didn't go with the story that they're trying to tell. It's interesting because a huge part of it was related to that whole fool thing. Like, I heard Zach saying, like, look at that fool to all the animals over and over. And I heard K Michelle getting a little annoyed by it. And so I had my one-on-one with K Michelle before Zach had his. And she brought that whole thing up. Like, that was, I think, one of the first things that we talked about. But she mentioned, like, oh, I don't like how he said fool to the animals. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to throw this guy under the bus. Like, it's, it's a competition, but I'm still like, I'm not going to throw another guy under the bus just because it might make me look a little bit better. So I talked to her. I was like, I understand where she's coming from, but I'm the same. Like, I call my best friends fool all the time. Like, for me, I think most men, that's a term of endearment. That's like how we men talk to each other, right? Like, we make fun of each other. It's like, that's how you're comfortable with another man, is if you can insult him and he knows that what you're really saying is like, I love you, brother. Yeah. And so I told her, I was like, he didn't mean it the way that you're hearing it. And like we actually had a pretty deep conversation around that. And in fact, after she told Zach in their date that I had kind of stood up for him. And after, like, that's when I kind of started bonding with Zach after that, because he appreciated that I stood up and was like trying to, you know, not just throw him under the bus. And so then when they cut that whole part out, I was like, man, like that was, to me, that could have made a good part of the storyline. But, you know, there's only so much time. And then again, it's like, it looks like I didn't even get the one-on-one. I absolutely did. And yeah, so it's a little frustrating to get like cut out.
Like Top Rope, like Zeus. I thought that Zach had won the primary date. I didn't even. Yeah.
And that's why we do the recap. This is exactly why we're here, so we can talk about these things. One thing I want to give you.
Every other guy. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Every other guy that went on a date, they all got their one-on-one. I don't know. Maybe Elam didn't. I don't remember. Maybe he might have got cut out too. I'm not even sure. But yeah, it was just like, it makes it look like a certain storyline that isn't necessarily how it happened. So, you know, it's not a big deal, but I thought it would have kind of brought a good element to the story. Plus, I wanted to see myself on TV a little bit more. I mean, I went on this. There's a little bit of pride and ego in that. I'll admit that.
You could have you're on the next season too, though, right? You're on the next episode, right?
Season 3.
Yeah. The next episode.
Well, no, we gotta see. We gotta see. We only
focusing on
right?
That's right.
No spoilers. But I will say this. I appreciate, Afam, how you had an opportunity, because at the end of the day, this is a competition, gentlemen. It's a competition. It's 22 guys, and you're all competing for 3 queens. Afam, you could have threw Zach under the bus. You could have threw him under the bus. You could have did what we call dirty macking. You could have been a dirty mack. But instead,
dirty macking.
You mac clean. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like win through dirty techniques, right? It's like, I'm going to try and be the best version that I can be. And if that is what she wants, fantastic. But like, if I'm winning by like stepping on somebody else, that's not winning to me. Like I'm losing and everybody else is losing. So like, that's just not part of my character. And that's why I really am like a little frustrated, because like, I would like to have been able to have that shown on the show.
Right. Absolutely. I think that you bring dignity to the show when you do things like that. Because on this show, you didn't see a lot of messy men. You know, some people are a little messy, but overall, you didn't see a lot of messy men. You saw men being men competing, understanding the competition, and we all had all of you had competitors when it came to the show, but you respect that, because in order to be a competitor, they got to be as good as something as you are. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be conversation, looks, you got to have something that the queen, you know, is interested in. So yeah, I give kudos to you, Afam, for being a class act. Now Chris and Dr. Elam, they went out on a date too. They're not here on the broadcast. Hopefully we can get them on the next episode, but we'll talk a little bit about their storyline, and I'll ask you guys, what did you think about their date? So Dr. Elam came, and so Queen London, she chose Chris and Dr. Elam on a date, and they went to play video games. They went to a video game place, and Dr. Elam kind of out the gate started kind of putting the pressure on Chris. In my opinion, I'm gonna get y'all's in a second. He started doing poetry. My man brought out the listen, the My Ghetto Butterfly. Wants to know why. I ain't never seen an eye cry. You know what I'm saying? My man was doing his thing. And Chris looked a little nervous at first, like, dang, I got to get something written, something. I got to talk to Dr. Elam when we come up to ask him, was that an original poem, or did he just kind of pull something from one of his favorite artists? Because y'all know in the comment section, you know, they ain't going to let us live it. They ain't going to let us live in the comment section. They ain't going to let us live. But it looked like London had a connection with genuinely both Dr. Elam and Chris. Chris ended up winning the date because they did a little basketball competition, and then they kind of went further. But what was you guys' perspective on Dr. Elam and Chris's chemistry with London? Who do you guys think she connected with more?
I mean, I think well, Dr. Elam had more chemistry. That's what I was seeing between the two of them. You know, like Chris, I mean, he's definitely smooth as well, but like, I mean, how can you compete with a poem like that? I mean, if I had been in there, I would have just like thrown the towel in at that point. That's like, I mean, I saw that. Damn.
Yeah.
He did well though. He was still smooth. He kept it. He won the game. He had that time with her. But like just my observation, it felt like there was a little more chemistry between London and Dr. Elam on like the overall like date.
Okay. You team Elam. What about you, Norman?
I mean, I felt like it could go both ways. Because
No Diddy.
seen her attacking it, like she was looking at it from different perspectives. Like I think when she asked them, like I think when she asked Elam to do the poem, it kind of shut Chris down. But when it came to the jump shot, that mattered to her just as much. You get what I'm saying? So the competition, because you know women normally won't do something like that. Yo, look, compete you for me, right? You get what I'm saying? Like what the heck? So it didn't happen in the beginning, but then with the poem, like seeing it turn to Chris, like, yo, look, where your poem at? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And Elam's not here to defend himself, but it did look like the balloon kind of deflated a little bit when he lost that. He was like,
that is true. That is true.
Like,
yeah, he looked a little
practice.
And on top of that, I know offline, Elam shoots all the time. He is an actual hooper. So for him to lose that competition, he was pissed. I'm telling you right now, he was pissed.
So far,
absolutely.
Chris was feeling
together. They played at Morehouse together. So
so Chris and Elam, they went to Morehouse together.
The Morehouse,
and they played basketball.
They said they were on the same team. Yeah,
I know they was on the same team. But I know I thought Elam and Elam, we exchange a lot, and he is often at the court like once a week. So for him to lose that, he was not happy.
He was probably heated. We're gonna get more. He's probably like, dang, how I missed this? I was just on the court yesterday. How did this happen?
Exactly. And it does seem he was not flustered, you know, for him to be able to just like pull it out and just sink them one after the other like that.
Right. Absolutely. No Diddy. Don't pull it out. It's crazy. It looked like we may have lost Book. We need to get Booker back on. So we'll look to see when he chimes back in on backstage, and we'll add him back in. I think he had some camera troubles, so we'll add good Booker back onto the stage. There we go. We got Booker back.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys this before I ask about the elimination dinner and towards the end. What were some of the funniest moments that you guys saw on the show? To me, I saw a lot of just funny moments. Not funny, you know, I saw people being nervous that I didn't think would be nervous. I saw people doing little hiccups. For me, K. Michelle mentioning Zach's sneakers when he had the suit, I thought was funny. Because listen, let's be clear, because Zach's not here to defend himself. Sneakers were clean. The sneakers was clean.
Yeah, they matched his necktie. Matched his necktie.
Matched the necktie, right? You know, it looked like he was going to a sneaker ball for like his kids' elementary school or something, PTA meeting, something like that. But it was cool, and it got him a date, which at the end of the day, y'all know that really is helpful when you're trying to connect with the queens.
It's funny you say that because his daughter actually picked out them sneakers for him.
Yep.
See? And it got him the date, though. It got him the date.
Yeah.
You know? That's funny. So what did you guys have any funny moments, any aha moments, or were there any moments where you heard the queens maybe describe you in a way like, oh, he was cute, he was fine? You like, oh, like, were there any of those type of moments for you guys during the first episode?
I think with the Jesus
the
thing,
crown made a bark.
Yeah, because I
like the crown. I liked.
I was there when he picked it up. Like he had options. You hear me? Like
wow.
And I was just like,
I thought that was his.
He brought that.
Know what? Okay. But Zach's a pastor, so we know he's big into the church and religion. When Zach come on though, I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna say, Zach, I like the crown. Well, what made you choose that one? Because K. Michelle liked it though. Once again, sometimes I'm gonna tell you how Zach is a killer. Sometimes the things that look like it's not working for Zach comes off very interesting and charming. And I think he's genuinely a great person because he seems like he's being himself. And he'll let you see the flaws and all, and he'll deal with them. So that's what I really, really like about Zach. But K. Michelle, she saw the crowns. Everybody had different crowns, and K. Michelle said, "You know, we got nice crowns, and we got Passions of the Christ."
Passion of the Christ.
We got crowns, we got capes, and we got Passion of the Christ.
Hey, I had a funny moment, and I think I may have shared this before in our conversations, but I actually saw Lisa Ray's daughter before seeing Lisa Ray, and I thought she was a part of the crew, and I was like, oh man, she's kind of cute. And then come to find out that it was Lisa Ray's daughter later. Wow. So I know, right, Norm?
Yeah. Glad you ain't say nothing you weren't supposed to say.
Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean? She was there?
She has more than one daughter, right? She has more than one daughter.
No, she has
one daughter.
One daughter.
Yeah. So you remember where we ate, like where the catering was out in the parking lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, so her daughter was in one of those SUVs, and I saw her come out and get out in one of those SUVs.
Are you freaking serious?
Wow. So Norman, you didn't even know.
No, he didn't know.
Man.
And like, what the
That's
heck?
crazy.
Oh, she was there.
Wow.
I remember having a conversation.
Can I jump in for a second? I'm sorry. I have to jump in and say
go
this.
Ahead.
For my friend Norman, I know we've had some conversations offline. Now that you've had an opportunity to look at that first episode, in my opinion, right, from my unbiased opinion, I think that they painted you or presented you in a very, very positive light. I know that you were very concerned about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you expressing to Lisa Ray what truly happened and how it happened, and most importantly, and it kind of touched me, and I think you're going to get this from a lot of the people that watch the show, when you expressed to her that I don't want you to, you didn't say it directly, but she said, I don't want you to, you said to her, I don't want you to blame your daughter.
Right.
She didn't tell you out of respect for you,
Right.
out of honoring you.
Bingo.
Right. I think that, I'm telling you, it was transcending.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm not sure at what episode Lisa said it, but she was like, you know what? The same thing happened to me and I didn't tell my mother.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You were the MVP of the episode. You know, I mean, I was disappointed that you weren't there longer, although I'm also selfishly happy because you would have been some tough competition. But like that episode, and like that's how you know each other.
I was coming to tell, yo. Listen,
I know. I saw that.
Let me tell you something funny. All right, so K. Michelle said something. She said, I like a rough man. So I scrubbed my hands before I went on the show because I didn't want nobody to feel how rough my hands get. So
wow.
My hands, and then she felt my hands and told me they were soft.
Wow.
I was mad because I'm like, yo, you don't know what I just did to these.
If you only knew.
In the episode, I was like, man, Norman would have been my competition.
I was like, get the heck out of here. There's no way.
I would have been in trouble. I was like, I'm sad that you were not on the show longer, but when I saw the episode, I was like, I'm also glad that you weren't for my own selfish reasons, because I was like, ooh, that would have been some hard competition right there.
Yeah.
Man, that was crazy. Hey, Norman, now once you felt your soft hands, I would have been thinking in my mind, dang, I need to go fix a carburetor or something. I need to go twist the wrench or something. Somebody give me an axe so I can start chopping a tree.
That's what I was thinking. Let me grab an axe and go start chopping the trees.
Get my calluses up. You know what I mean? But two of you, we're moving towards the end now. Two of you went to elimination dinner. And elimination dinner is something that not everybody goes to, but it doesn't mean if you go to elimination dinner, it doesn't mean you're gone automatically as well. It's really more so like a last chance to win the queens over, for them to at least see something in you of somewhat of a connection of something like that. So before I ask you to, because Norman, you were in the elimination, correct?
Yeah.
And Bailey, you were as well.
Mm-hmm.
So before I ask you guys what that experience was like for you, I want to give kudos to Bailey real quick. You know, you gave kudos to Norman.
Oh, wow.
When K. Michelle, they gave you your feedback, you said, I received that feedback.
Feedback, yeah.
a lot of men would have took that opportunity to be petty or to be personal or to say, hey, well, I don't like none of y'all anyway, whatever. You showed you showed a couple of things. One, you showed humility. Mm-hmm. You showed humility, and you showed what a grown man, a grown adult, mature man, how he receives feedback from a queen. And I was just utterly impressed. Utterly impressed by how regal that was. I mean, not everybody on the show, as you can see in these reality shows, not everybody takes the classy route, but you really took the classy route. So I just want to give you kudos for that, brother.
Man, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. That's it's truly some growth, and I really do appreciate it, because one of the things I've learned at this age and this stage of my life is that nobody's perfect. Right. And all of us came to that show with an assignment. And if for whatever reason they felt like I didn't make the connection, or I wasn't their king, then rather than shift the blame, but blame shift on them, that's your opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to receive that and say, what could I have done different?
Right.
Yep.
Because I can then make myself better for the next time. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to bring up Booker. We're going to bring Booker back up. He like his Wi-Fi's back working for us. So welcome back, Booker. You like Beyonce? He like to lead a group. He like to come back. He like to lead a group. He like to come back. We see you, Beyonce. So, Brooke, we're talking about elimination, and I just talked to Bailey. I just gave him kudos about how well he received the feedback in his elimination. But now I want to know, how did Norman and Bailey feel about going to elimination? How did it feel sitting there on the hot seat? Did you think you were going to get another pass, or did you feel like, hey, I'm on the hot seat, but I'll get another chance? Or were you just utterly shocked that your time on the show was shorter than you would have liked it to be?
All right. Well, for me, because the night that night I got to, that last night where I get to interact with the ladies, I actually got to really build a bond with K. Michelle. Mm-hmm. And nobody could have told me that she wasn't going to save me at elimination. So it really threw me. I didn't know how to feel. I knew that Lisa Ray was not my person, because we all that I wasn't a date. You get what I'm saying? So, when I went there, I'm thinking that K. Michelle was going to stop that from happening. And she could have. I think all the producers, I think the whole set thought that she was going to stop it. And when she didn't, it kind of threw me off, because I'm just like, wow, this woman just said, oh, I like him. Mm-hmm. I told this woman, I do anything inside, outside of the house. I cook, I watch babies, whatever you need. I'm like, Walmart, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I go to this table, I'm good to go. I actually thought that Zach was going to go home, and I didn't want him to, because, like, I built the bond with Zach. Zach, all around cool dude, because he's genuine. I don't care who he'll throw himself under the bus before he throw you under there. And I like that. You know what I'm saying? Because
absolutely.
Character, man. But when Lisa told me what she told me, I basically already knew that. You get what I mean? It only hurt me because the other ladies didn't. And I've been had a conversation with London, and it went good as well, man. And if either one of them would have stopped it, but I would love to get to know K. Michelle. Oh my God, because she doesn't have a clue as to who I am, because I was so short because of the situation that was at hand. Nobody on the show got to see me while the cameras were going. You get what I'm saying? They found we all have a bond. You get what I'm saying? Like, since the show, we've all been close. You get what I mean? In some way, shape, or form. That shows that I could have poured a little bit more onto the ladies than I was allowed to, because of the situation that was in.
Well, I hope you ain't pouring baby oil on them.
No baby oil.
But let me ask you this.
Look,
let me ask you
Don't leave out the no Diddy. Look.
No Diddy. This broadcast recap is sponsored by No Diddy. So do you, Norman, do you feel like your your relationship with Lisa Ray's daughter and that situation, do you feel like that played a part in why the other two queens didn't save you at all?
Oh, I definitely listen. Let me tell you something. I am exactly who K. Michelle described. Exactly. And it's crazy to me because I got on there trying to be someone else in the moment because I was hiding from Lisa Ray. I was hiding the whole time. You get what I'm saying? And I hated it because I love this woman. Still to this day, I have not one bit of hate towards this woman for what she did. She did what every mother would do, and that's protect their daughter, and defend their daughter. But what she didn't have was the other side to the story. You get what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah.
But I do feel like I was so short because I already know that I would have still been on that show. Come on, man. Like she just verbatim, like she went right down the list, and I'm just like, I'm looking at my like I just daggone scrub these. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Scrubbing
crazy.
just for her.
I felt some kind of way. I never told her what I did, nothing until
Right.
right before elimination. And once I told her who I was, she said, I like this guy. That would have told me right there that I would have had the initial date, you know, I was sad by that, but it's my fault. I don't blame nobody because I should have stood on my own 10 toes and talked to Lisa Ray like a man. I could have done it different, but I was so shocked. It was
Right.
like shell shock. I was in a bubble and I didn't know what to do in that moment. So I was part to blame. You know what I'm saying? And I could.
I'm gonna be honest, Norman, man. I feel like you handled that situation better than most.
I think so as
Because
well. I don't think you're giving yourself credit, man.
yeah, I agree. If, gentlemen, you guys agree with me. I feel like for one, you having a past with a person is everybody. Everybody has a past. There was nothing you knew. None of us knew. None of you guys knew. What is it? Who you were going to meet? Right. Everything was blind, so you didn't know Norman. So you can't really blame yourself for that. I mean, honestly, when you see that thing happening, now you got to come up with a plan in your head about what I need to do. You know how to move, and you can't tell your peers because you know it's going on. But it seems like we really didn't get a chance to meet the real Norman.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's a shame because everybody on here, Bailey, Booker, Afam, and I'm sure the other guys would agree that you off camera seemed like you were one of the stars. You were one of the great vibes and energy. You're laughing, you're telling jokes, and I'm glad that we got you on the show because especially you and Bailey. I know you guys got eliminated. But the thing about it is, I feel like you guys were some of the MVPs of this episode because your characters as men shined through everything from how Bailey handled, you know, now Bailey, you had one part with K. Michelle I didn't ask you about. K. Michelle, you guys, when you first met, before the dates, you sat down and y'all was talking, and it was something to the effect of you were talking about relationships and having control. And K. Michelle said that she's a control freak. And you were saying how, you know, if you submit to God, then, you know, a woman should submit to the man, you know, that submits to God. And it made sense to me. I was like, I had to go back and hear. I was like, maybe I heard it wrong or something. It made sense to me, but maybe she heard it a different way. And it looked like the conversation went left because you was talking and y'all were vibing. I saw the vibe. Everything was good. And then once it went left, you got your drink and clink. You left classy though. You left classy.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You put the finger up when you do the church. You gotta go to the bathroom. Thank you very much. and you got out of there. What was that about, real quick?
I think I maybe triggered something, right? I think what I said made sense. What she heard might have been a little different, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and tie that into the elimination dinner because I'm gonna give you a little tea right here. What's funny is that just like Norman just told us that he made a different connection with K. Michelle at the dinner, right? I had a similar experience with Lisa Ray. This is the tea. I had a similar experience that night with Lisa Ray.
Wow.
Right? We went out on the patio and we were talking and I forgot what question she asked me, but I flipped the question around and the whole mood changed. Her demeanor changed. She laid back and she said, you know what? No one's ever asked me that. And so we ended up talking for about 10 or 12 minutes there. Then about 15 minutes later, I went inside and sat down. She came over and sat down with me again. And then we started talking about how much she loves to be pampered and be taken care of, but she also loves to cook. Her way of giving her love language back to her man is that she cooks for him. And so we've made a
Wow.
real connection. So here's the tea. At the elimination dinner, when we're sitting at the table, right,
Mhm.
Norman, you may not remember this, but you will. She'll verify it. When Kay Michelle was saying the positive things, and she said a lot more positive things than they showed on the camera. You know, you're a
Yeah.
handsome guy. She gave me a lot more.
Right.
But then she paused, and right after she said, "Bailey, you're not my king," Lisa Ray immediately said, "Well, I disagree." But when she said it, because Norman said no one came to save
Yeah.
him, she said,
Yeah.
"I disagree." When she said it, I swear to God, there was a train that went by the set in the backyard. And so when the train was going by saying, she was like, "Well, I disagree." You can really barely hear it. And
Yeah.
so it kept on going and the scene kept on going. So I was almost saved, but it wasn't a part of God's plan because that train went right by the exact same time that Lisa Ray said that. And it would have been controversial because I know they hadn't talked about that in the back, right?
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got
Yeah. Norman,
Wow.
I
you
do
may not remember that. She was right there in front of you. You might have heard that.
remember the train though. Like I remember the pause that we had to take because of the train. So
Exactly.
I definitely know what you're talking about, man.
Yep.
Crazy.
So, but yeah, that was
Wow.
just
And
all a part of God's plan, man. It could have went if that train had not gone by at that exact moment. I think I might have been saved that night as well. But mine
Yeah.
wow, maybe
would have been by Lisa Ray, not Kay Michelle.
wow. That's crazy.
Zeus,
Zach might have been driving that train.
let me tell you,
He might have been praying for that train. He might have been rubbing his
I'm
He might
gonna
have called that
crown.
train and said, "Hey,
I'm gonna
right
tell,
now, get it, go, go, go."
let me tell you who was driving the train. It was Chris. Because Chris was supposed to be at elimination.
Yeah, he was.
Really?
It's 4 people supposed to be at elimination.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
only 3 of us.
Right.
Chris was supposed to be there, but sadly he had a situation with his family and he
Right.
couldn't be there. I felt like that also played a part as to why I got kicked off the show.
Right. I don't know if you
Wow.
guys knew that. Chris was supposed to be there that night.
He
I'm
was
not. I didn't see this. I didn't see the ending of what happened in his last date with London. But he
Yeah.
was of the 2. She chose Dr. Elam. Chris was
Yeah.
supposed to be at the table that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I did not know that at all.
So what happens is they can't get because Chris wasn't there.
Right.
They can't get rid of just one person. They have to get rid of 2 people
Of course.
for it to make sense for the next 6 people to come in. It's only 7 times.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely. Okay.
I felt like that is the reason why, because even the producers walked up to me and said, "Man, I can't believe they didn't save you." And
Yeah.
they didn't talk about this. So I'm like, wait a minute, like what the heck? So where's Chris? And Chris had a family emergency, and I feel like that's why they did it the way they did, yo. And I don't nobody say I feel like because Elam got picked over Chris, Chris would have probably went home.
Well, well, he's not. He might. It might have went a little bit different, but we can't say that because he would have still had his opportunity.
Things like that happen behind the scenes where you wouldn't really know unless we actually bring it to the table. There's no guarantee if Chris would have been eliminated, but I will say if Chris was added, there would be 4 people at the elimination. So that changes up the odds a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was a question I was going to ask you guys. If you weren't in the hot seat, who would you have, thought should have been there? So that answered that question for me. It seemed like your experience in the first episode with the ladies, some had trials and tribulations. Some was a little bit easier than others, but I feel like everybody was represented in a positive way. So big shout out to Peacock, big shout out to Bravo, and big shout out to Will Packer for putting on, a show where we're not looking like buffoons. You know what I mean? You guys represented yourself very, very well. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, gentlemen. Hopefully next time we will be able to get some of the queens on, and some of you that are going on to the next episode, we'll see you in episode 2. For my man Norman, Mr. Bailey. Hey, listen, Thank you so much, Kings, for being who you are. I hope this opportunity for this show brings great opportunity to you, gentlemen, and your family. Thank you so much. And Afam, Booker, thank you as well for being a part. I'm going to see you guys on episode 2. Big shout out to our sponsors, Live Your Dreams, Not Your Reality. Thank you, guys. Make sure you go to topropezeus.com and get you some merch. And make sure when you're in DC, you go stop at Mr. Braxton's Bar and Kitchen. Okay, guys? Big shout out to the Queens, Lisa Ray, Queen K. Michelle, and Queen London, and also the hosts of the show, Holly Robinson Pete and Rodney Pete. So thank you, guys. And as always, I'm your host, Zeus. Live your dreams, not your reality. Put in the comment section, guys, anything that you want to ask the guys. They're going to be in the comment section. So put it in there, ask them what you want to ask them, and make sure you see us next Sunday right here at the Queen's Court Season 2 recap series. All right, guys? Take it easy.
Thank you, Zeus.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.